Oh, the Erie was rising and the gin was getting low. I scarcely think we're gonna get a little drink till we get to Buffalo. Get to Buffalo. 2 days out from Syracuse, the vessel struck a shoal. We like to all be foundering on Chunk-a-lack-a-wanna-coal. Oh, the
Good morning. Hi, this is Jack Byer, your American narrowboater. Today is Sunday, I believe it's the 19th today, and here I am in beautiful Crystal Beach again. Today, we're gonna lock up the Erie Canal. Now, I don't mean to be too cute about that, but actually what we're gonna do is talk about the locks on the Erie Canal. That all of the locks on the canal are now 44.5 feet, or about a little over 13, maybe 13.5 meters wide, and 300 feet long, and that's about 91 meters wide. At the same time, they made sure that all of the lock gates and the lock mechanisms were electromechanical. So in 1915, when they changed the locks, there wasn't a lot of electricity available all over the place. I mean, it was coming, but it wasn't reliable. So they made sure that each of the locks had its own generator, and it was electromechanical. It wasn't hydraulic. All of those mechanisms still exist today. Now, in some cases, they've pulled the generators out. In other cases, the generators are still there, and the way they work is all by water power. They just capture water from the upper end of the lock, put it through the generator, and have it come out the lower end of the lock. Some of them have, we saw one place, one installation where there were generators, but they hadn't been worked in like 10 years. So they're not really relied on because the electricity supply now is much more reliable. Okay, let's talk about what a lock looks like. At each end of the lock, there is a building about the size of a phone booth, of Doctor Who's phone booth. You also have those blue buildings which contain the machinery to operate the doors as well as the doors. So let's say now that I'm coming from downstream and I'm getting near the lock, and it's time for me to get the lock keeper notified. I have to have a device that is a VHF radio, and I have to have it hooked up to channel 13. They all look like a walkie-talkie that you see, so I'm going to simulate it with this iPhone. Once I see the lock, and I've got to wait till I see the lock ahead, there's a couple of things I need to know. First, what's the name of my boat? Second, what direction am I going in? And third, what's the name of the lock? And if you don't know that, it can be very embarrassing. So here it goes. This is going to be very close to real life, and I'm going to put a video up of real life in a minute. First, I hold down the button and wait a couple of seconds. CS1, this is the boat Sunflower, heading northbound, seeking instructions to proceed. Then you let go. And you're gonna wait a couple minutes, 2, 3, sometimes even more, and then you start getting antsy. Why haven't they responded? It's because they've got other things to do and they can't get back to you right away. And sometimes they assume that because you've called them, they're already doing their thing. You see, between boats, the locks are left half full, half empty. They never drain it completely and leave it that way, or fill it completely and leave it that way. They're always halfway. So you've got to expect probably a 10-15 minute wait once you've notified the lock keeper. But I've gone ahead and I've notified him. After 2 or 3 minutes, here's what I get back. I promise you that happens every time. You don't understand a thing of what they say. So you wait a few minutes, and with a slight sheepish grin on your face, you go, looking for permission to proceed. And I'm sorry I didn't catch your first transmission. It was a little garbled. It was a lot garbled, but you're being polite. Now coming back, you'll get something that goes, yes, this is CS1. Yeah, I see you, Sunflower. It's going to be a few minutes. I've got to fill the lock. just wait till the doors open and the green light comes on and then come on through. So you do that. You're sitting there in the middle of the canal. You're sort of treading water. You could pull up to the lock landing and tie up. Then you do notice that the green light comes on and you notice the doors open. So you give it a little gas, diesel, and you go into the lock. There is a lock.
Oh, wow.
Okay, I'm gonna hang up unless you want to do it, Jeff. Would you mind calling the lockmaster?
What's the name of our boat?
The Sunflower.
Lockmaster.
So you push the big button.
So what are we doing?
Okay, you say
We're going north, or where
we're going north.
Okay. So this is the Sunflower. We're proceeding north. We are
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta talk. I gotta push it.
You push it, then talk.
Hello, this is the Sunflower. We're traveling north and we'd like to proceed. May we do so? Hello, this is the Sunflower. We're traveling north and would like to proceed. May we do so? I don't know. He's asking me a question.
I'm sorry, could you repeat, please?
Lock 1, if you're calling Lock 1, you need to address Lock 1 in the direction that you're traveling, please.
Right, we're heading north on the towards the Erie Canal from Kyoga Lake.
So we'll have the lock ready for you to get here. Thank you.
What did he say?
He said, so that's lock so-and-so, thank you.
Oh, so what did he ask you?
He asked us what was the lock that we were trying to get to, and I didn't know what the lock number was here.
Did he say we can proceed or what?
He didn't say.
It looks like it's closed. You don't know what lock that is?
CS1. As you can see, sometimes it's hard to communicate with them, but we were rookies, and it really wasn't the lock keeper's fault, it was ours. But after a while, we went into the lock. Now, on our boat, the locks, that we had a hatch that was on the right side of the boat. So we were told by our owner of the boat, always tie up on the right side, because that way somebody can just open the hatch and hold on to the side of the lock. Because the water, when it comes in or when the water leaves, there's a lot of turbulence in that lock, and you need to be secure to the side of the lock. On all of the locks, there's ropes, but they're dirty as heck, so you want to wear gloves.
Here are the actual gloves.
Some
I
of the
use.
locks have pipes that are coming down that you can hold on to, and some of the locks, and we never saw the ones with the pipe, and some of them have cables that are encoded in polyurethane. We saw those quite often, and anyway, whatever's there and is available, you hold on to it. Now, on our boat, we had bow thrusters, so we just had one person holding on at the stern, and who was ever driving it at that time, usually me, used a bow thruster to keep the bow up against the lock wall. So once you secured your boat, you're going to see the lockmaster, who's also called, by the way, a Canal Structures Operator, CSO. That's their official term. And you're going to meet one of those a little later in the video. Well, he is going to walk, in our case, since we're going down a lock, he's going to start off by going up the upper lock. He's going to close the doors, and he's going to close the floor gates that let water in. Then he's going to walk down the 300 feet to the other control building, and he's going to open the gates that let the water out. At that point, if you're lucky, he comes walking back and you have a nice conversation. If you're unlucky, As he closes and opens and does all of his things at one gate, before he can go down and do the next process, he stops to talk. And you have to understand there's no traffic on these canals, so these guys get lonely and they love to talk. And I don't mean to demean that, because they're wonderful people and they always have something good to tell you. But if you do that and sit there and talk to the person, you're going to be stuck in that canal, or that lock rather, until they finally finish the conversation and go about their job. Let's take a second or two to meet the lockmaster at CS1.
Normally, right now we're having a communications breakdown. We're supposed to call ahead to inform the next lock where the travelers are going, so they can be ahead of time.
Yeah,
with it.
we called each time and asked if we could proceed, yes.
No, that's fine. You guys did fine. It's the operator that should have let me know, so that by the time you guys got here, we'd
you'd
have
be
everything
open.
ready.
Yeah.
So cause an inconvenience, but it won't happen past here.
Okay. What's our next lock? We're going up to the Erie Canal heading west.
You're going up. You're starting the ladder climb uphill.
Oh, okay.
So you got about 25, 26, 27, 28, 28, 29, and 30.
Wow.
Yeah. So you got 7 more locks. Each one are a little higher than the next. You're gonna
Okay.
go
Between here and Lyon, how many locks are we looking at?
25, 26, and 27. So 3 locks. You should be able to make it to Lions in probably, let's say, half hour, 2.5 hours, like 4 hours.
How many?
About 4 hours.
4 hours, okay.
And then what's the next town after that? Is that Newark or?
Yep, it's a good spot to stop, hang out. They got a nice spot to park the boat, get out and walk around.
Oh, they have a little park there?
It's kind of just on the river, marina type thing. Right there. That's probably the best little charcoal cooking spot parked in this whole section. There might be some in Lyon.
This is the lockmaster. We can barely hear him. I don't have him mic'd up, and he's a little out of range of the microphone, so.
Not mic'd up today.
He's putting together a log of our trip.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay.
Well, I don't have one sure.
We do a lot of narrowboating in England,
England, yeah.
but England's been closed for the last 2 years because of the COVID, so we thought we'd try the Erie Canal.
It's ironic. The original constructed canal that ran across the street had 8 stone locks, and they imitated the English canals when they built them.
Wow.
And the dimensions, 15 foot by 90 foot, and then they expanded that.
Can you step closer? Because they'd like to hear that. Our audience is mainly English.
Okay. Well, yeah, the American canals imitated the English canals to the T. They sent our engineers over to England to copy them, and then they had those in place for about 100 years. And they had to step it up again for competition with the railroads and the St. Lawrence Seaway and all that stuff happened. They built the barge. Teddy Roosevelt was responsible for the Panama Canal and this Erie Canal barge canal.
Wow.
Currently, New York State. Yep.
Cool.
And it's been around and running since 1916.
So how long is your title lock keeper or lock master?
Just canal structure operator.
Canal structure
CSO
operator.
for short.
We had to come up with a new name.
It's a civil service position, so we take a test and you get lucky if you get selected. I got lucky, so.
Good for you.
Been here since 2017.
And you love it.
I love it. Best job in the world.
Is it a 40-hour week?
Oh, yep.
What do you do in the winter when they shut down?
We do overhauls. We do all of our own construction in the winter. We pick one of our 10 locks. We set up dams, drain it out, pull the gates out, pull the valves out, send Waterford, Syracuse to refurbish, put them back in the spring, get our boards, motors, grids all back together, test it, run it, and we go all summer nonstop. Right. This year we've had 85-year record flooding.
Whoa.
We've had to get shut down from the entire system. So this river, the Seneca River, the Mohawk River, the Oswego River, they're all shut down for about 2 weeks.
Wow.
They said it was an 85-year record for this time of year.
Huh.
Yep. So every year's a little something different. We either get droughts or floods, and it goes every other year.
Do you get the snow like in Buffalo, or is that?
We get a lot of snow. It all comes off the Great Lakes, Lake Erie mostly.
Right.
Lake
Okay. You get the
Ontario.
lake effect snow.
Yeah, real thick, fluffy stuff. Yep. So
Is this a rain gauge over here?
Yep, we do the National Weather Service. So they set up their gauges.
That's the rain
rain
gauge.
collectors.
The thing beyond the life ring
On every
container.
single tributary that feeds into the main bodies of waters and rivers, and they crunch all the numbers, and they call us at each location to adjust the dams and the water flows accordingly.
Oh, to keep the levels up.
We do multi-role purposes at these places.
So you're doing more than just pushing a button there.
Yeah, well, and they're all different too. Each lock is different. So if you went up to 4 is hydraulic, right? Alternating current. 2 and 3 is digitalized touchscreen, alternating current. We're a direct current mechanical.
So where are the batteries?
These are. This was, I believe, it was Thomas Edison's doing.
Oh my goodness.
The other ones are Nikola Tesla's doing.
Oh.
You ever listen to the current wars?
Yes, yeah. It's the
This
difference
is
between
a
DC
direct
and alternating.
Result.
Yeah.
So how do you get the direct current?
They generate AC, and then we put it through a rectifier transformer, and then it comes to the corners as DC, 230 volts per corner.
Huh.
And it's 7-horse motors run 41,000 pound gates.
Wow.
Because the water, when it's level, it displaces the buoyancy and it makes them light, so they open.
Oh.
Yeah, it's very interesting how they do it.
We can
So-
keep this area very clean.
Thank you, we're number 1. Not just in this section, but in the state. Yep, if you want an example lock to look at out of our 57, this would be it.
Oh,
Compare this one
congratulations.
to any of the other ones. We'll brag about it all the way.
So, all right.
We do a lot of work out here.
So how many other, how did he say it, commercial, the CSOs, how many other CSOs are there on this lock?
Just this lock, I'm the only one. So I have a chief, I'm in the middle, and then I have a seasonal. We divide the work amongst the 3 of us throughout the year. That goes for pretty much all the other locks, and you get a permanent operator of water control structures, because they got to be there all the time, summer, winter, anytime the hydrologist call, anything happens, we got to be there and know how to do it. And it helps knowing all of them, too.
Can you go over the gates again? The gates you're saying are buoyant,
Yep.
so you have to.
It was a design of Leonardo da Vinci. That, the whole miter gate concept.
Uh-huh.
Yep. How the water pressure, as it differs,
Keeps them
creates a
closed,
seal.
yeah.
Yep. So when it becomes buoyant, they kind of float on their own. And based on the height, we have a 7-foot lift. We draft 14 foot above the sill. It's a total of 21 feet, and it's a foot per ton on the gates.
Wow.
Doesn't seem like we're going down very fast here.
No, I gotta actually walk down there and turn the levers for a minute.
Oh, then I'm going to stop you from talking. I'm going to turn off my
I hope
camera.
you got good info and good footage.
Oh, we did. Thank you so much.
What's your name?
Mitch.
Mitch. Thank you,
Mitch,
Mitch.
we're the American Narrowboater on YouTube. So you just type in the American Narrowboater
Okay.
and you'll see yourself. And probably about a week and a half.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Okay, take a look at this mound. This mound looks like a very interesting little mound. When they built these locks in 1915, they made them so that they ran totally independent of the power grid system. Of course, in 1915, they didn't have anywhere near the power system we have today. So in that mound, there were 2 generators. They would be run off of the water power from the canal.
How are you today? We're going to Seneca Falls.
Well, thank you so much. Okay, no.
Thank you.
And then this is the lock keeper's cottage. Well, here I am at lock 30, and while we're waiting for the next boat to come up and go through the lock, I thought I'd take that opportunity to show you some of the mechanism. This is the gears. You can see there's a motor in there that turns those. And then this ram that you see right there, that's what opens it, and it will come in. And there's one on the other side too. And this is the lock keeper's cabin. So when he opens this side, he comes down and he operates the controls from here. And if you look way down through the windows, you'll see the other white cabin that he will be at to open those downstream locks. This is the mechanism for opening up the gates underneath the lock. And this is what lets the water in It's like the equivalent of the paddles on an English lock. Only these are a little bit bigger. This is the mechanism that does it. Okay, he's about to open the lock. Okay, he's closed the gates that go down the middle here. Okay, so here's the gate equipment again. Turns out there's two sets of gates. This is for the these are for the gates that let the water in. Down there, I just showed you, those were he closed the gates that let the water out. So what he'll do now is he'll come back up after he closes the gates behind us, and then he'll come here and raise these. And this will let the water come in through the channels down below, underneath it. You can see he's just taking his sweet time coming back up here to work. Son of a gun. Civil service. An oxymoron. Okay. Now he's opening up the gates to let the water in, and it goes in a channel down through the middle. On the other side, they also have the same thing. Here's a clip that I am using with permission from the YouTube channel Owasco. Here they've gone through the lock and they've done it with a time lapse. It's an excellent shot, so I'm with their permission I'm using it. And they were having music under it that I don't own the copyright to, so I had to delete their audio. But I encourage you, take a look at their channel. They do have some beautiful drone work and some beautiful photography on the Erie Canal. Again, my thanks to the Owasco channel. This is Jack Beyer, your American narrowboater, signing off. If you like the video, please click the thumbs up, click notification, leave comments, and please subscribe. We'll catch you next time in our next Erie Canal vlog.